If you've hit midlife with your children still at home, as well as caring for your ageing or sick parents, then you've become part of the sandwich generation. The number of Aussies doing this while also maintaining a paid job is on the increase. And according to the Bureau of Statistics, it's mostly women. Sandwich carers are carrying out informal, unpaid care at the cost of their own careers and savings, and many are secretly burning out. So how can you better manage this stage of life without sacrificing your financial future? For more, I'm joined by financial coach and old mate of the program, Betsy Westcott. Betsy, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Why are more Aussies finding themselves in this situation?
Well, thanks to advances in medical healthcare, Aussies are living longer, but often with more complex health needs. And then on the other end of the spectrum, our children are staying at home with us longer because of those cost of living challenges that they face. And so that means that we are often sandwiched, and let me tell you, this sandwich is anything but tasty, sandwiched between elderly parents, younger kids, and that comes at a cost. It comes at a cost of your emotional well-being, sometimes your physical, social, but also financial, because the impact of this is significant. Research suggests about $10,000 a year it costs you to provide this care, as well as about 1,300 hours of extra work.
Wow.
We've only got the same hours in the day, so you've got to pull it from somewhere. And that often means that people have to work less. That impacts the income coming through the door, meaning that there's less money to save and invest and put toward their own financial future and security.
So, Betsy, what are some services that people can get support from?
Well, if you're a carer, I would be getting up to speed on payments, allowances, tax deductions that you might be eligible for. So I would be checking out Carer Gateway, My Aged Care and Services Australia to find out what support, resources and potentially some payments can be available to support you.
What about approaching the boss, your own workplace, and getting some flexibility there? How important is that?
Most of these carers won't identify themselves in carers and might often have a little bit of fear about putting their hand up and saying, I need a little bit of extra help because of my family life. So the best approach is to create a workplace that really supports carers so that they can get what they need without having to raise their voice. So first of all, can you offer flexible working arrangements around maybe earlier starts or finishes, maybe split shifts? Can you offer arrangements where people can job share or work a condensed working week to just give them a little bit more time and space to attend to those caring responsibilities, and then making sure people know what resources, what carers leave is available, and really creating that supportive, open culture that makes people feel like they can juggle both home and work. And the upside of this is that it not only is good for the employees, but it's good for your bottom line as a business owner. It increases morale, it reduces turnover, it creates loyalty, and helps people to be more productive in the office.
What about the financial side? How can you put money aside for this situation?
It's always good to have a plan, but often with these things you can't anticipate them. So it's about addressing them as challenges come up and having really open conversations as a family and ongoing conversations as things change. So things that I would be discussing is the basics, like what's the income available? What are the expenses that we need to be taking care of across the whole family dynamic? Are there any debts that we need to be addressing, and what are the assets? The second thing that I would be looking at is, do we have our paperwork in place? So things like, is there a valid will and where is it? Secondly, do we have powers of attorney if someone loses their capacity? What are the advanced health directives, guardianship and those sorts of things, and really making sure that is well understood, as well as, again, looking at those resources with places like Services Australia, having an aged care plan in place to make the decision-making so much easier and less stressful in those times of crisis or change.
Okay, as someone who's gone through this, do you talk to both ends of the generation, adult kids at home? You start saying, okay, we're going to charge you rent to help ease the situation and cost of living, and you start contributing, sort of not as much as you would pay if you go and rent outside. And to an elderly parent, just say, if you want me to be a carer and the rest of the siblings live interstate or don't have the time, can there be a contribution for everyone to help ease my financial situation, what I'm giving up?
I think that's very reasonable.
Taboo subjects, aren't they?
They are, and they're not easy conversations, but they're essential conversations. So with the kids, don't think that you are doing them any harm by having a money conversation. Some research came out today saying that around 50% of households don't talk to their children about money, and what you're doing is you are hindering them from having their own financial well-being. So have very real open conversations, and in doing so, you're going to equip them with the skills and the confidence to not only survive but thrive financially when they eventually do move out of home. Yeah, which hopefully they do one day. And then on the other side, I think that's really fair and reasonable, because it does come at a cost, and you can put some formal arrangements in place. In fact, I encourage you to put a formal arrangement in place. It can be a simple sort of note on a piece of paper, or as something as structured as a binding financial agreement, just acknowledging what care's been provided and how that might be compensated, whether that's through inheritance or with money up front. Remember that we're trying to come to an arrangement that supports everyone and make sure that everyone feels well supported and looked after.
Difficult conversation, difficult position to be in, but you can work your way through it. Betsy, always great to catch up.
Thank you, you too.